invite Hal and Becky to kind of launch us into our facilitator training. Okay?
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
You don't have to ask us to smile because we're pretty excited. It's so good to see all you guys here. It's great. It's just, it is life-changing, transforming. It's wonderful. Go ahead. I just wanted to get excited.
Anyway, the reason that we're here is, last year there was over 100.3 million people filed bankruptcy last year. There was over 450,000 home foreclosures last year. So we want to improve that. Here in Washington there was over 100,000. So that's nationwide that I was talking about.
Hal and I went through Financial Peace University probably about 3 years ago. We started at Westport with our son. His church was doing it, and he wanted us to go for moral support. And of course, you guys all know, a lot of you went because you just felt like you should go, but you didn't need it. We didn't need it either until we got there and found out how desperately we did need it. For us, going through it once wasn't really enough. We're slow learners, so we went through it again. The second time we went through, we took our daughter, Deanna. She's here with us somewhere. There she is. She went through Financial Peace University last year and was able to save enough money, put a down payment on a home, and buy her own home. Plus, she's going to be out of debt. So these are the stories that occur because of Financial Peace University. And it's really important when you're doing your class to share the excitement and the life changes that occur, because they really do make a difference.
Okay. The way that FPU works is with the small groups. Without the honesty, and especially the honesty of you guys, it's just another topic. Everybody's just going to forget that in no time. But when you start sharing your personal stories and your successes and your failures, you start hearing other people's, and they hear other people's. That's what's going to make this really memorable. That's what's going to make it succeed. Second thing that we need to remember is Dave does the teaching. We don't do the teaching. We just facilitate. And Dave he's got the expertise. He's lived the life. He's been through it. He's gone through the bankruptcy. He's pretty much done all of the things that he talks about. So we let him teach, and we just coordinate the conversations basically, and set up the classes so that they're able to go. Okay.
How about That's good. No, that's good. That's good, Peggy. No. That was Josh.
Okay. Okay, and he keeps it fun and entertaining. And it's easy to understand. We can just complicate it if we try to. So let him do it.
Now let's look at what's expected of your class members. You need to hold your members accountable. To just go through this every week and not worry about whether or not they've done their homework, or if they have any questions or anything. It's going to be like any other seminar or training that people go through. We need to really hold them accountable, and more often than not, you'll find out that each other holds each other accountable, and that's important. For discussion, oftentimes it's kind of hard to get people talking, and so it's really important that you kind of keep the conversation going. One of my problems is I'm not really comfortable with silence, and so quiet. I want to fill it, like when we're going through the questions and things, if no one's talking, I just kind of feel this urge to step in. And, Hal pinches me a lot during the session to keep me to, help me to keep my mouth quiet. But it's important because sometimes people just need silence in order to formulate, and we need to give them that time. Another thing that's really, really important is the confidentiality. Several people have said to me when we were talking about financial peace, well, my finances are my business, and if I have problems, it's mine, and I don't want to share that. First of all, you need to tell folks you don't have to share a thing. I mean, that's, you don't have to. They'll find as the class goes on that they start sharing, but they're reluctant to share, and it's really important to stress that what is said in our small phase sharing groups stays in our small phase sharing groups. They don't have to give us their income or their debts or anything personally. The snapshot, of course, gathers that information, but there's no identification to identify the people. So, just stress a lot with them that it is confidential and will be kept that way. And attendance, as you all know, the classes build one on top of the other. And if you miss one, you've really lost something. And so it's important to make sure that you tell people, don't miss a class. It's really important. Besides which, you won't get to graduate and get a certificate. So, they're going to want to get that. But no, really make sure they understand that the importance of attending each class. If for some reason something comes up that they can't make a class, whatever it might be, let them know that they can go on to Dave Ramsey's site and make up a class. You're allowed to make up 2 classes total. The other option would be to join another class that's doing the same lesson. So, but they don't want to miss a class. It's important. The other thing is make sure you let them know that it's life-changing. It really is, in our opinion, it was life-changing for us. We've seen it in many other people as well. So just remind them, and that's what you'll see with the group.
Okay. Now we'll look at what's expected of you as a facilitator. Number one, we say that we have to hold them accountable, so we need to be accountable also. When we tell them this class is going to start at a certain time, we need to make sure we start it then. And we want to make sure that we finish the class on time also. So, if we tell them that it's going to be 2 hours, we need to try to hold that to 2 hours and try to guide the conversation so that that's what happens. A lot of this, you guys probably, if you do small faith sharing groups and you do Bible studies and stuff, you probably have already heard most of this stuff. But it's good to refresh and to hear this again. Okay, as you lead, you need to remember to try to inspire change. Encourage them to continually to do that homework, because the more they actually sit down and they have their meetings and they do their zero-based budget, it's the easier it gets. And that's once they see how easy it gets, that's when they'll want to change. You need to offer hope. Make sure they know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And the best way to do that is by sharing your experiences on how you were able to proceed with the program. So, get intense.
I like this part.
See, I don't need to. She does it all. But let your excitement show. Let people know that, you're excited because you're coming close to being debt-free, or because you're coming close to just getting a bill paid off early. I think that's really important that they see that kind of excitement. And get ready to cut them up. I know when Becky and I went through our first class, we cut up one part that we knew we were never going to use. I mean, it was easy.
Other people were cutting up their cards. We had to do something.
But then we went through it a second time, and then a third time, and then we're teaching, I'm sorry, not teaching, but facilitating. And, it gets harder to find cards to cut up. But
Always cut up your library card.
it's important for them to see that you're trying to do the same thing that you're telling them to do. Anyway, be a part of the crusade. You guys just got all these red T-shirts. we're on a crusade here. We want to change St. Mike's Parish. So, you know, if you can wear those shirts to church, you know, on Sunday, the more people see that sea of red, the more they're going to want to, you know, get involved, be a part of it.
We went to a Seahawk game at a bar a few weeks ago. It wasn't really a bar, it was a restaurant. They had this big, huge Seahawk flag, and every time the Seahawks made a touchdown, they ran through this facility. You know, and I thought, wouldn't that be cool on Sunday at Mass to just have a big Howard and run through the pews? But I know we can't. That's the kind of stuff we don't do. Let's crusade for this.
He's writing it down.
You should have been at our meeting on Thursday night.
Okay, and look for powerful testimonies. You know, you're going to have testimonies that you're sharing with them. They're going to start sharing some with you. As they're proceeding through the program, they're going to learn more, and they're going to, you know, see things that really affect them. They're going to hear things that are going to affect them. You know, if you can get those stories, you know, and ask them if they'd be willing to share it, you know, that's part of the crusade. We want to be able to share those testimonials with people so that we can, you know, encourage more people to come and do this. So.
Okay, you want to initiate interaction, and, you know, again, it's just, if you've been in small space, sharing groups or any other kind of small groups, sometimes it's hard to break the ice, and so it's important to try to encourage that, and it's not always easy. You want to encourage members to open up as well. We found that our first class, there's not a whole lot of talking, not a lot of sharing. Oftentimes you have people sitting there like this, because they don't think you're going to, you know, share anything with them. But
Or they don't need it.
yeah, or they don't need it. But as the classes go forward and there's more sharing, you'll see these arms go like this, and pretty soon they're up there, you know. So just encourage that. It's really important. Be transparent. A lot of you already heard our story, but I'm going to share it real quickly. We were facilitating one of the classes, and we were probably in about...
Buy everywhere. It was the week before Buy Everywhere.
Okay, well, maybe it was. Yeah, I kind of think of it. Yeah. So we got something in the mail about going to listen to a talk on timeshare. Now, Hal and I, back when we let money rule us, already bought into timeshare. So we already have a couple of weeks with timeshare anyway. So we didn't need any more. But they were offering a cruise, you know, a free cruise. All you had to go do is listen for 90 minutes, you know. Yeah, that's what they were doing. And of course, you know, Hal is he's the nerd in our family. And so he's always, you know, and it's like, is it nerd? Is that the right term?
They call me all the time, so it must be.
But anyway, he's saying, no, you know, we don't need, I don't want to spend 90 minutes in Seattle. We don't need to do, I said, well, you know what, we can go to Seattle, we can go to Pike Street. I mean, you know, let's go. After, you know, a number of conversations, I finally convinced him that we should go, and we went up there, and, you know, they rolled this program out, and, you know, and I, you know, we're Dave Ramsey students, you know, I mean, we have it all together. And we had our budget meeting, we knew exactly what our budget was, and when they brought this all out about how we could have you know, another week and blah, 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 you know, we were quite smug, or at least I was pretty smug. It's like, well, you know, we went through Dave Ramsey, we have a budget now. And, you know, but they kept adding, you know, it's like, first of all, if you sign up now, you get an extra week. No, you know, we're on this budget. And in addition, we will give you 2 free airline tickets. You know, and then they left, and I'm like, is there any way we can, you know, how's it going? You know, we've got our budget. So they come back, and I was like, yeah, well, we've got our budget. And I'm still looking at these, you know, it's like, they offered us 2 more free airline tickets and another cruise. I mean, come on, you know. And I mean, I'm salivating. I'm thinking, you know, and they're showing us pictures of Argentina and Acapulco and all these wonderful places, and Italy, the Vatican. I mean, you know. And, you know, they left again, and I'm telling Al, you know, we cut the cable. We don't need cable. We can do, you know, I had all these, you know, and Hal's going, yeah, we could do that. Oh, they gave us gift cards too, I forgot. And then they come back and they said, you know, actually you don't need down payment. because we'll let you put that on this card. 90 days, same as cash. So, I'm thinking, so they leave again, and then we're, finally, in the long run, the bottom line is we signed on the dotted yellow line. Okay? We got into our vehicle, and we're on our way home from Seattle, and neither one of us said a word. I mean, total silence. And, talk about buyer's remorse, we both were feeling that. It was kind of like Dave Ramsey was up here going, what the? And I heard him loud and clear, and I think Hal heard me too. And so we got home, and I went into the bathroom. He sat down in the chair, and I come out of the bathroom, and I said, this state has a policy that you can get out of a contract within a certain amount, and I think we should cancel. And he goes, that's exactly what I was thinking. So we canceled immediately. But the story here that I'm trying to tell is that Hal didn't want us to share this with our class. I mean, here we're trying to tell everybody how to get out of debt and do the right thing and, all this stuff, and Hal says, no, we're not going to tell him. I said, I think we got to tell him. And he goes, no, because bottom line is we're trying to, let them know how to do this, and we really screwed up. And I said, I really think we got to tell him. So he finally agreed, and I think that that was one of our best classes. Terry was at that class.
It was powerful.
And,
We needed to hear it. We needed to hear it.
And that's what I'm trying to point out here is that, be real. We all make mistakes. We all get sucked in by these wonderful marketing people. And so, just be really cautious. Encourage members to support one another, and that's important too. If somebody's struggling, as a group, we want to support that person and do all that we can to help them get through whatever it is that they're struggling with. Give everyone a chance to speak. You've probably all been in groups where there's one person that tends to monopolize the conversation. And that's really difficult when you're in your small group. We don't have that much time. And sometimes we have a few people that they want to give their whole life story and then go on and give it to you again. And then a third time. And there's other people that need to share and want to share. And if you let the one person just go on, it's not fair to others. And so, you got to constantly try to refocus. And, if somebody's talking and talking and talking, you can say, well, what's
Tim,
Tim, how do you I guess you could go like this. But
The Jim said.
But, just ask someone else, it's like, Tim, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, you don't want to put someone on the spot, but you can kind of tell who would be willing to step up to the plate and stop the conversation. So that's really important. And listen intently. Somebody will come up to you maybe a few weeks later and mention something to you, and if you don't remember what they said because you didn't listen well, that really doesn't speak very well. So just listen intently.
Okay. We also need to remember, use humor. I bring Becky. Like I said, share personal stories, laugh at yourself. We all make the same mistakes. So, is that order? Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right.
I'll put it together. What can I say?
But be willing to share yourself and be honest. Be excited about accomplishments. If someone in your class tells you that they just paid off a bill, or even something as simple as they go to the grocery store and they just want a loaf of bread and they spend them $50. That's their normal MO. But then you find out that they went in and they bought that loaf of bread and walked out and nothing else. That's an accomplishment. You should share that in class.
In one of our classes, where we were going through the class, one of my accomplishments is I gave up Starbucks 7 days a week.
That lasted a week.
That's but, that was a big accomplishment for me, and it was really cool because the whole class recognized that. And they clapped, and it reinforced the fact that, wow, this really is a big deal. And so I don't get Starbucks 7 days a week anymore. I broke it down. Next.
Show compassion. We had one woman in one of our classes who had just lost her spouse, and she didn't know anything about finances, and that's why she came. And she was really struggling, to understand what's going on. And so we need to be compassionate that, some people need to go a little bit slower. Yeah, you need to allow people to cry and to laugh, even get angry. We had one person that came and told us right from the very beginning, I know that you're going to tell me that I can't spend money on my grandbabies, and I'm not going to let you do that. We're not going to do that. Yeah. So confront unwillingness to change, and you just have to point out to them, you just have to plan for it. That's all.
They have to budget for it. Another one was someone had a Macy's card, I think it was Macy's, and they said, you know what? I'm not going to get rid of my Macy's card, and I'm going to keep shopping there, because every time I spend money there, I get $5 back. And so I'm not going to do that. And what I pointed out is that you do get $5 back, and that's great, but you go back to Macy's and spend another $40 so that you can spend that $5. It doesn't make a lot of sense. You need to budget for those kinds of things. And once they kind of hear, that, yeah, it doesn't really make sense, that helps them change.
Okay, only facilitate conversations. Don't try to do other people's budgets and stuff. You just need to keep the conversation moving along, do the questions out of the book and basically just facilitate, okay? And the other thing is, again, Becky mentioned already, don't be afraid of silence. Give people an opportunity to think about what they want to talk about or whatever, and let them talk. If you're if you're talking 10% of the time, chances are you're probably talking too much. So, okay, allow members to hold one another accountable. They're going to do that anyway. That's something that you don't need to worry about. Okay, now we'll go over a little bit of how to conduct your small group sessions.
Are you on the same page? Do we have, okay. You want to make sure that you take attendance. We always put the sign-out sheet right there as they enter the room, but it's important to make sure that if you see someone come in, to ask them to go back and sign up. If at the end of the class you might want to just take a look at the sign-up sheet, make sure everyone is signed in. Review the last week's lesson. You don't have to go through the whole thing, but just hit the bullet points, like baby step 1 is what, snowball, those kinds of things. Accountability and application, again, don't worry about covering everything. Life is going to happen.
And keep in mind that some people, especially older couples and stuff, they had their own system. We had a couple that had his own system, and it worked for him, and that's what he wanted, and that was it. And when we tried to get him to actually do his zero-based budget, he actually brought in his checking account to show me that that's how we balance it. And so it's important that we, I lost my phone. It's our job to make sure that they understand the process. If they already have a system that works for them, that's okay. Let them continue to do that. We just need to make sure that they understand the process so that if they want to use it, they can. Okay. At every class, there's going to be homework at every class, as you know. It's important that you reinforce that they do their homework. They're never going to learn how to do the system. It's never going to get easier for them unless they do it. So you want to continually encourage them every day to do that, and to read the complete book, The Guide to Money. There's going to be reading sections out of it in every class. And, really encourage them to do that. Oh. And FPU Central, again, like Becky said, you can miss 2 classes, but not only is they can go online to watch those classes, but that's where they're going to find all of the forms. If they use the ones in the book and they need them we encourage them to go in and to make copies of them and save them, because I believe now it's not a lifetime membership where you can just keep going in, your time span runs out, so you want to encourage them to get in there and make copies.
Okay, details about the facilitator kits are a little bit sketchy right now because we're still not sure how we're going to do it. Some of the classes will be held in the school. Some of them will be in here. We're talking about maybe having the kits in the locations in a locked area so that when you come for your class, you can go to the area, pick up your kit, and you'll have it. Again, it's still a little sketchy. We're still working out the details, but we promise you, you'll have a kit one way or the other.
Michelle will explain that a little bit better later.
I'll make something up.
There will be DVDs for the day classes. There'll be name tags, notepads, pencils, snapshot envelopes. The envelopes, this is what we've come up with for the snapshots. It's important that these get turned in at the end of your class. You can put them in the drop box at church or whatever. We did 2 envelopes. One is for the first snapshot, one is for the second. It'll have your class day and time on it, and your location. Once your class fills out their snapshot cards, put them in the envelope, and then put them in the drop box or give them to the parish office. Okay.
That way we can keep them together. There's going to be so many classes going on at the same time that if we just drop them in there loosely, it's going to be hard to keep track.
And the importance of the
Yeah,
snapshot.
Yes, my name's Tim Detterman. I'm the one that volunteered to do the number crunch for this exercise. So
And we're so happy.
I'm actually not taking a bow. I'm pleading with the facilitator. During my last crunch, I had to invoke the wisdom of the Holy Spirit to try to determine whether I was looking at a 1, a 7, or a 9, or whether I was looking at a comma or a period. Please have your people write slowly and distinctly and clearly, just for my own mental health.
Yeah, and we actually, we put that in one of the slides, Tim, just for you.
Yeah, we'll actually go over the
To
snapshots.
be legible. That's really important. Okay, the facilitator notebook, I'll go through that with you in just a second. Yes,
How long is the lifespan now on your membership?
I believe it's only a year.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Is that right, Michelle?
I don't know.
There are a lot of forms that you can get just off the Dave Ramsey site though too. The regular budgeting forms, a lot of them you can, so.
Is there a way for facilitators to get, it's probably been about a year since I took the class, so I'd like to be able to get on and see anything that a class member could see. Is there a way to accomplish
Yeah,
that?
not sure how that works.
Actually, we don't
Something to check on it.
think that's going to be possible.
I can talk about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, those are questions that Michelle will answer.